What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of TheLead Houston, where it's all Houston all the time. Today, we will be talking about the NFL draft. We are only a month away from the draft, and the Houston Texans, as we know, 25th pick in the draft, 4 picks within the top 100. And it's always a fun discussion as to who is going to get picked at 25, but it's always also fun to talk about prospects that don't get talked about enough. I think these are I'm going to give y'all 5 NFL draft prospects that should be on the Houston Texans radar. I think this is just 5 guys that we should be watching and definitely could fit that mold that DeMeco Ryans wants on this football team. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get it going. If you like what you're seeing, appreciate it. Go down, subscribe, hit that button, hit the bell for the notifications to turn on, man. We're trying to do big things for this YouTube channel. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers, so close to 13K. So again, super appreciative every single one of y'all, man. So go ahead, do y'all's thing. Do me a favor. It's absolutely free 99. So let's get into it. Let's get into some draft prospects. Again, I have 5. I'm going to start with a running back here from Tennessee. His name is Dylan Samson. Dylan Samson, 5'8", 200. And as you see, I got my notes here. 5'8", 200. Yeah, you're probably thinking, oh, he's a little bit undersized. But Dylan Samson packs. The dude's a dog, okay? Dylan Samson can do it all. And as a running back out of Tennessee, this dude is definitely somebody that falls between that day 2 to day 3 kind of guy. I would lean more towards day 2. The Houston Texans, they looked at 8 running backs with their 30 meets at the NFL Combine. 8 of them were running backs. I believe the Houston Texans at some point will be taking a running back, and I think Dylan Samson fits exactly what they want to do. They got to get younger at running back as well. Joe Mixon loved what he did, but we always got to look at the future. The NFL draft is also just as much about the present as it is the future, and the Texans, they have to find a way to get a running back, if not double dip at running back, because Dameon Pierce, we don't know what his status is. We don't even know if he fits this scheme. We saw him working out. Really happy to see him doing that. But Dylan Samson, 5'8", 200, can receive, can run, does it both very well. In 2022, he was more of a reserve running back. 2023, he was more split running back, only had 1 start that year. But then 2024 happened where he was the full-time starter. I mentioned his history because there's not a lot of tread on the tires. So that's also enlightening to hear, as we know running backs can have a tendency to retire early in their career. We know that they don't have a long longevity. Their shelf time, there we go, that is short to running backs. And we know that Dylan Samson, again, does not have a lot of tread on the tires. But in 2024, you're looking at SEC Offensive Player of the Year, first team all SEC running back for all-purpose yards. He had a school record of 22 touchdowns. Dylan Samson is absolutely the guy you want on this Houston Texans team. Packs a punch. Put him with Joe Mixon. You got yourself not just lightning and thunder, but lightning and lightning. Yeah, 5'8", 200. A little bit of a problem pass blocking wise, possibly due to his frame, but I still believe that this would be a very solid pick and somebody the Texans should watch at the running back position. Let's go ahead and give another guy. I mentioned about double dipping at the running back position, and another guy the Houston Texans should be looking at in the NFL draft. Again, running back to me needs to be talked about a lot more for this Houston Texans team. Trevor Etian Jr. I've mentioned him many times on my YouTube channel. I love Trevor Etian Jr., obviously the brother of Travis Etienne Jr. Trevor, though, is, again, a very solid running back and similar to Dylan Samson, but more of a day 3 pick. Again, a guy that is a runner receiver, very good hands. I mean, you're talking some damn good hands with Trevor Etienne Jr. He's about, what, I believe it was 5'9". Yes, 5'9", 200. He has some kick return ability during his time at Florida. He was a kick returner there during his 2 years there. Then he transferred to Georgia, where he had some really good year for them, actually. That could obviously tend to work well for the Houston Texans. You don't know who your kick returner is right now. You could assume that Braxton Berrios is going to be taking that opportunity, but it's always good to have competition, and that's what the Houston Texans are doing right now. Competition is key. And Trevor Etian, I know you drafted Jawar Jordan last year, but you didn't even use him. Trevor Etian is a whole lot better, and to me, somebody that could potentially find his way as a kick returner, find his way on third down situations, and find his way onto the football field. And he is very similar to that of former Patriots running back James White. Coincidentally, the height and size is about the same. James White, though, 5'10", 200. Trevor Etian, 5'9", 200. So why I mentioned James White is because Nick Caley was there in New England when James White was dominating as a receiver out of the running back position. And that's something Trevor Etienne can do extremely well at. Really good, efficient running back. Won't blow you away with the speed. He is fast, but he isn't somebody that is going to blow you away. But damn good route running, damn good hands, somebody that the Houston Texans ought to take a look at and really evolve this offense around a runner receiver type of running back. I think both guys ultimately can fit this scheme. Dylan Samson, though, man, the jump cuts that he can do, very similar to Arian, not height-wise. Arian was a little bit bigger as a back. Dylan Samson shorter. But, man, those jump cuts he can do in an inside cut, inside zone, think fits him the best, but I think the Texans can really work around him. Those are two running backs they should be taking a look at. We are going to stay on the offensive side of the ball, and we're going to go ahead and give y'all a solid prospect here. Tight end Mason Taylor, out of LSU. Mason Taylor, if anybody remembers him, he is the son of Jason Taylor, Pro Football Hall of Famer. His uncle is also a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and Zach Thomas, he's got Hall of Fame blood running through his veins. But it's not just that makes you go, oh, is that why he's on the list? No, absolutely not. Mason Taylor is an absolute stud. He deserves every reason to be on this list. There's many NFL draft scouts that could actually consider him to, at the end of the day, maybe be the best tight end prospect in this class. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be there at 25. I'm saying at 58, maybe 79, but I do believe he ends up being a day 2, maybe early day 3 guy. Who knows? But the Houston Texans, the mention around getting younger at the tight end position from Aaron Wilson and him only mentioning Brevin Jordan and Cade Stover puts some makes my ears perk up a bit, because he did not mention Dalton Schultz in any way, shape, or form. Mason Taylor is an absolute dude at the tight end position. Definitely is somebody the Texans should be looking after. And again, a guy that can not only receive, but can block as well. The blocking can be better, but at 6'5", 250, he's got a really good frame and a damn good receiver that is only getting better as the years went on at LSU, and ultimately could transcend into a really damn good tight end here with the Houston Texans. So I gave y'all 3 offensive guys. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball, because we know at some point D'Amico Ryans is going to say, you know what, I want a defensive guy. And we all know it starts with the trenches, and defensive tackle to me is one of the weaker spots on this defense. So we're going to go to defensive tackle right away here. And the defensive tackle I have in mind is a day 2 prospect, Shamar Turner, out of Texas A&M. You cannot have 5 prospects to watch without having a guy from Texas. And that is exactly what Shamar Turner is. A&M guy, College Station. He is exactly what I think the Houston Texans are looking for. Now, I know Shamar Turner, some people know who he is. A lot of Tamu fans out there, a lot of Aggie fans out there, little whoop action. But you're looking at a guy, 6'3", 290, but the motor never stops. He's a tweener. He can really, really good against the run, or can be really good against the pass. But some people would say that he had too many 15-yard penalties. Some people would say that he plays with too much of a temper and a little bit too much aggression. You say too much penalties, you say too much aggression. I say he is a swarmer for the Houston Texans. I say DeMeco Ryan says, you know what? This guy is a definition of a swarm guy that the Houston Texans could love. He is still a raw prospect that still needs some help, still needs some more learning. But as we've learned with the defensive tackle position, you can almost put anybody out there, and it just seems like they play a whole lot better underneath the Miko Ryan system. And Shamar Turner, with the tutelage of him and Matt Burke, as well as some veterans that you have currently, the dude could ultimately end up being a starter for you at some point this year. And I think that is a very good value to get at number 58. See him as a day 2 guy. I'm not quite sure if he squeezes into day 3, but high motor, you always want a guy that has a high motor. And then we're going to stick with the defense side of the ball. We're going to go with pretty much a day 3 pick here. And it is a linebacker out of Georgia, Smael Mondon Jr. Linebacker again out of Georgia. The dude is about 6'2", 220. Now, a little bit undersized for the linebacker position, but ultimately, Smael is a 5-star recruit, which is something Nick Caserio really loves. And as a guy that played a lot of inside linebacker, can be more of a will linebacker, but what the biggest thing is, he ran a 4.58 40. He is a speedy linebacker, really good pursuit, can get better at his angles in terms of getting to the tackler a little bit better, but the runner, a little bit better, but ultimately, he is a guy that you can use in sub packages when you need somebody to cover tight ends and maybe even receivers. He has that man cover ability. And DeMeco Ryans, if he wants to get crafty, you're looking at a guy that can come in some sub packages. You could use him in blitzes as well. Kind of reminds me of Devin White. Devin White wasn't ultimately a guy that you want out there in coverage, but Smael, being younger and fast, can actually cover. We've seen the film on it, but Devin White was used last year heavily on blitzing, and that's what something Smael Mondon could do for this Houston Texans team. He's also somebody that has played special teams. He's played a plenty amount of special teams in his first year at Georgia, ultimately ended up being a starter the rest of the years, but he does have some nagging injuries, especially a foot injury that I would be keeping more of an eye on that could maybe scare you away. Maybe you get him as an undrafted guy, who knows, or 7th-round pick. But I do think he is a 5th-round pick for this team and a day 3 pick who could ultimately, look, you lost Neville Hewitt. I know you signed another guy in Nick Neiman, linebacker for the Chargers. It's only a 1-year deal, though. Smael Mondon could be a very helpful special teams linebacker. It could somehow find his way as on that football field in some sort of packages. But ultimately, those are the 5 prospects I would want the Houston Texans to be taking a closer look at. Y'all let me know, how do you feel about these prospects? What is somebody that I should have included on this list? Let me know down in the comment section. You'll know I'll reply. As always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans. You have a blessed day.